Good evening, old chap. This is Swiss lace, this is French lace, and this is poly. All three covered in disgusting glue. Just been sitting around in a drawer. Now, I've told people before on this channel, I don't want to clean this shit off and keep reusing it. You can. You want to save some money, fine. Gets all scungy, right? The glue starts showing through the back and everything, right? Now, this is what it feels like to try and get glue off a lace piece. Look at it. Pulling hairs out through the bottom as well. You see that? As I pull the glues out, it's all terrible. So, to be honest, this might be French lace, but let's just pretend it's Swiss lace. Can you see any difference in the hole sizes? Different colour browns, maybe. I'd say that's medium brown, and that's medium dark brown. Getting the glue off lace is a pain in the ass. Doesn't matter if it's French or Swiss lace. Okay. This is poly. It's a little ball of glue that I put there. Okay, so this is what it's like to get glue off poly. It's really, really easy. And if I did that all the way around, it would be as good as new in about 1 minute or less. So, how do they stand up to being wrecked? Why am I throwing this out? It's fine, right? I just said I could make it as good as new underneath, but the way this is cut, all the hairs are going in that direction because of the flow of the way it's stitched. Might be hard for you to tell. Except for here, where they're going thonk, like that. So, I'm going to swap it for this one. Now in preparation for putting this new one on, I shaved my scalp. I applied some Walker Tape Max Hold Sport, which makes less sweat come out. Then I applied Walker Tape Ultra Hold Glue along the top perimeter here and down to about there, which is all dried now. And now this shininess here, if you can see any shine, is simply from that stuff, which can just wash off with water. Okay, so if you go past your hairline, it doesn't matter. You can go all the way down to your eyebrows. You'll still be able to wash it off after. I don't know what happens if it gets in your eyes. Probably don't test it on yourself. Or your pet rabbit. Don't test it on your pet rabbit either. Okay. So this is poly, right? Now I've complained about V-loops and stuff right before, sliding out too easily. Now if I grab a bunch of hairs, they're not all really wanting to come out at this point, okay? If I get one hair, that came out, we'll try another hair. Get these other hairs off my finger first. Okay, one other hair here. Yeah, like I said in one of my previous videos, that first one I had, the first one with V-loops, must have been a dud, because no V-loops are coming out of this one. These are all in tight and secure. That V-loop problem was almost exclusively a problem for that original hairpiece I had. They're not really pulling out that easily here anymore. I mean, my finger and thumb are squeezing as hard as they can on each hair, the hair is neither breaking nor sliding out of its socket. So the V-loop problem is not a problem, apparently. It must have just been that particular unit, which is great to know. There are straight lines going all up and down here where the hairs have been V-looped in, which looks completely fake. But I hope that once it's on your head, it's hard to see for people. So I couldn't pull hairs out of that one. Now let's try pulling out hairs from a, let's say it's Swiss lace, okay. The hair just came out. These are old though. Okay, so obviously pulling on a hair, if you grab a bunch of hairs, and this, they're tied in with knots. Okay, so I'm pulling on the hair. I must say though, this hair seems a lot thinner and more fragile looking than the hair from that poly piece there. So I yanked that a few times and some hairs came out. One hair coming out. It just breaks off like you would expect if it was your own real hair. So no different from pulling your real hair when you do pull on a lace piece. The V-loops on a previous piece came out easily, but on this one they are not at all, which means all of my other 18 hair pieces I'll get from that 6-pack. If you need to watch the other videos to understand anything I say, basically. I'm not going back and telling you everything again. Now, how does it stand up to ripping? Well, I'm tempted to start ripping there, but that's not a fair experiment, is it? Because that's already almost perforated. Okay, so can you hear it? Obviously it'll tear more easily there now, right? Because it's already broken in half. So now, okay, that's a good example here. Look at that, see? I'm just going to press in and it's doable, and you can see there the fraying and everything that happens. Now just imagine you're fiddling with the front hairline for a few weeks, okay? Up and down, the wind's blowing it back, you're pushing it back down, going back into the bathroom and quickly covering it over with glue and fixing the front hairline all the time. What you're doing is you're pulling this thing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, warping it, right? You're making it corrugated so that after a while, instead of being nice and flat, it'll be bumpy and it will be very hard to look seamless. At that point, do what I do, chuck them out. Now, that was probably French lace, sorry, Swiss lace, the one that I just tore in half. There's another French lace, this one. Okay. How well does this one tear? I'm just going to pull it from both ends like that, stretching it, see what happens. You can see the amount of resistance in my arms then. Okay. Obviously that's going to be harder to tear than having all of that purchase. I'll just try this one here. Get the hairs out of the way, so I'm just going to clean kind of it's too hard to do it. Try and get it in here, right? See, but the thing is, what I've done though, even though it hasn't torn, I've perforated it, so it's still fucked. I've corrugated it. It's going to be wonky, right? So I would never be able to really trust that anymore to look great at the front anymore. It's not impossible to rip, obviously. I could rip it. It's just harder. And then you've got these frayed edges of the lace sticking out as well. Now let's go to poly. What's it like to rip poly? Okay. This is 0.03mm ultra thin skin poly. Okay. I get my thumb in there. Okay, for a start I want to try to stretch it. Oh, it ripped. I'll try and rip it like this way. Okay, so it gets to a breaking point. It's a stretchy oink. Oh, and that broke off. By the way, I have never accidentally gone with a hairpiece before. So, some of you have been wondering, why have I got like 20 dislikes after the first 5 seconds of my videos being posted? It's because I've got this hater stalking me. You will have seen his many personalities constantly writing something hateful to me, and then 5 seconds later, writing a response back to himself, clicking like on everything he writes. And now he's made like 20 accounts in the last few weeks, and he's just going hate, dislike, 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 hate, 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 hate. So that's what's happening with that. I don't know what's wrong with him. Made an entire video trying to see his perspective. Don't know what to do. There's nothing to do. I'll just be disliked by him because I'm like his main thing in his life. I'm the main thing in that motherfucking prick's life. So this is the new piece, which I'm going to use, put on my head now. I've got the glue, I've got the Max Sport. I'm going to wet the hairs because otherwise I'll have absolutely no visibility. And I've got a couple of hairs sticking there. They're gone. So the reason I've wet the hairs is so that I can see through the hairs into my reflection in the mirror. Just going to dry that. Not dry it, just dry the base so there's no water on the base, and make it not drip. So yeah, I guess dry also means to make less wet rather than make it not wet, right? The verb to dry. It doesn't necessarily mean it will be dry after you've dried it, because you've achieved more dryness than was there previously, right? I'm not sure exactly how English works. Anyway. That's the top. So I've glued it along the perimeter here. Now I'm going to take alcohol spray. Give myself some slippery time. Give myself some slippery time. Slippery, slippery, slippery time. He'll turn me into a meme, taking quotes out of context and all the other shit. Imagine this guy. Just a whole wall of pictures of me with darts in my fucking head. Red string attaching all my locations that he's seen, clues and shit from the videos. Fucking madness. Ears. So lonely. Yes. And the thing is, I didn't do anything to him at all. And yet he sends me death threats and shit. This is the problem with poly. It's very difficult. You see, I've got to get this exact. It needs to be cut exact. My head needs to be shaved exact. And now I've got to place it exact. Anything wrong, and there will be a line of scalp showing. If it's too far back, there'll be overhang, and there'll be a line of plastic showing. A much more difficult problem to solve. If either of those two things happen, you've really got to do it again. You've got to take the whole thing off your head and start again. What is bound to happen, of course, as well, is that the way I've cut it, it's a bit too big. The stencil and my scissors aren't the best of friends. I mean, I try to get it as close as I can. So what you do here when you're correcting a bit of this stuff, you're going to spray that, then use this tool called a comb. Get that out of the way. Reset. I'm trying to place this down in the right spot for very, very little visibility. I have tried, if you watched my previous videos, to build a monster mirror thing that was hang from the ceiling and wind around, and the difficulties involved in building that mirror was ridiculous. There's no reason something that simple should be so fucking hard to make. You're better off just having some kind of stand that sits on the bathroom floor and just put it behind you when you need the mirror, and then move it out of the way when you're finished. Because gravity is easy to work with than ceiling mounts, much easier. Ceiling mounts are a pain. So remembering that I just applied glue to the back half. I'm leaning my head forward so that I can stretch this down a bit and get it to line up there. Not that I really need to, because I'm about to brush it back anyway. So it's a bit of waste time. But at least I'm making sure that all of this part up here is now in the right position for when I do place this down to about there later. So, do you think I've got the the positioning correct? There's no glue, don't forget, in the front half, because I wanted to apply that for accuracy second. Make sure it's going to stretch down to the right location. So I think above, see these ridges? 1, 2, 3, 4. When you raise your eyebrows, just on the very top of the top one, that's where I think the hairline would naturally be if I wasn't bald. But it's stopping half a nub higher than the top of the nub. So I need to stretch it down a bit. Otherwise the hair will be too far back. Yeah, that should work. Seems quite right. Now already here you can see all of that misplaced part that is not lined up at all. That's also a result of some of the stretching I was just doing. It's very awkward. When you're first putting on poly, it's awkward. But maintenance is almost zero compared to lace. Lace is a lot more work to maintain. Just wondering if I've gone too far back here with if there's an overhang or not. It's really hard to tell. So it's impossible. You need a mirror above your head. You need a mirror everywhere. And for those people who actually apply a hairpiece all the way over to the back of their head here, how are you even doing that without a mirror? I have no idea. Really. Like, you guys should be more interested in making a mirror system than me. I can at least mostly see what's happening. Okay. trying to see through to where how it's lined up back here. I don't want a gap, and I don't want an overhang. It was looking like there's a gap. It really doesn't seem like there should be one. It feels very far back. Now you've got to remember, when you sort of looking back like that, you're sort of pulling it away as well. And also, hairs aren't like walled together. There is a space. So there will be some kind of a gap. It's just got to be probably 1 millimeter gap. It's 2 or 3 millimeters. It's too big. Why do I glue everywhere? Why don't I just glue like a crucifix or something and just go around the perimeter with the glue and leave more air in there? Because I don't want the bloody hairpiece to be rubbing around causing a rash or air bubbles to get in there. This is uniformly stable. If you do have to do the back of your head around here and stuff, and you're not worried about the wind going like that, maybe you might want to do something less glueful. But I find this to be seamless. I don't see any reason not to use this extra glue to do this, but I can see reasons why it would be bad if I didn't put all the glue all the way. And this is a front partial, so it's not as big as a gigantic hairpiece, a full-size hairpiece. Nearly finished my acting course. I've learned quite a lot. I haven't really made any friends from that course, except the one older guy who I like. We get along. We're both almost ostracized equally. I'm ostracized maybe quadruple what he is though. Because the kids in my class, I have not ever done anything malicious in any way to them. I may have made some jokes that they misconstrued, or their value system is that it's evil to be racist, but it's okay to fucking mass murder animals. You know, they don't have any real sense of principles except for what they've been told to think by basically social media. So they just talk down to me and talk over me if I ever talk. There's some people who I thought who were sweet and so on are actually fucking selfish and evil. It just turned out that's just become apparent. They're actually that selfish that would hurt people's feelings knowingly while they do things for themselves. Is that different from being malicious? If you want to do something for yourself and that someone just happens to be in your way? Or does malicious mean you had to pre-plan that you wanted to hurt somebody and then you just attack them in some way? Are they both malicious? Or is one just a selfish arsehole trait? And the other one's like more of a crime or something. I don't have enough vocabulary to differentiate. So I did go out with them in the city last night. About 6 of them. Ended up about 4 of us. I was being largely ignored. Ended up talking to a couple of black guys. Made some deal about a car. Spent the night with them. We went into the rough neighborhood and just took a lot of drugs. Fuck no. I didn't waste everything in my wallet. My bank account. I didn't want to look. It was worthwhile. I mean, you can't just... Because I got along with those guys. And then we met some more people along the way. Other drug people, dealers and friends and things. Those people we met. They were fun. They know how to party. They were partying. And I've got to say, the chicks wanted to play with us. Wherever these black guys were, we had a crowd of people who were interested in becoming part of our fun group. And the thing is, I was getting along with them so well, I didn't even pay attention to everyone else until I casually noticed there was this chick sort of dancing up on me because she wanted to be with the black guys and the other guys. And that wouldn't have happened if I was by myself standing in the corner drinking a beer saying, I'm so lonely, you know. You've got to be with the party people if you want the party to come to you. And in Australia, just in general, you don't see that many African races. You see Indians, if you're talking about black people. I don't see any Aboriginals in Melbourne, ever. I mean, I've seen a couple, you know, but in terms of Africans, I only see about 3 per year. And I probably see about, I'm talking about the news, I'm talking about television shows, everything. On Australian shows. I mean, if I watch an American movie or a British movie, I'll see black Africans, but not in Australia. It's not a big part, not a big immigration percentage. It's got to be tiny, like really, like less than 1%. Indians have become a huge immigration group. But I think mostly it would be Chinese. Second, Indian. When I was a kid, it was more about Italians and Greeks. Yeah, it won't be dry yet. So, was my ripping of that that material, those bases, of use to you? Which is stronger, Swiss lace or French lace? French lace would be a bit stronger. But when you stretch it, it becomes corrugated. So imagine that wonky thing on your front hairline, trying to push that down. You glue it there and now this bit is sticking up a bit because it's folded. So when you try and tighten it there, now there are 2 folds here, and you pull that down, and now it's just sticking out there. Like, you have to clip this off or something, and now the whole thing's just thinned out and like spread out. Like, you just chuck them out, man. They don't last forever. I mean, how fragile do you want to be with your hairpiece? It's just buy some more. They're not made of money. I know. But you saw how easy the glue came off that poly. How easy it is to clean the poly. I haven't experienced any sensation of feeling claustrophobic in any way because of my hairpiece. I got a bit of a from all the cocaine I snorted last night, but this is not causing any kind of discomfort in the summer heat. There are times when I feel like it might start lifting because ultra hold melts. When my skin temperature is about 25 degrees, which I'd say is probably most of the time. No, I mean, I don't know what my skin temperature is. I think humans are supposed to be like 37 degrees Celsius or something. That's, I don't know. a thermometer under the tongue or something. So my skin temperature might always be about that temperature, but then usually you've got the wind to cool you down, or air or something, right? It dissipates out, radiates out of your body. But nothing can radiate past this thing, okay? So that's going to keep the heat in, so that's going to melt the glue. But at least in the summer sunshine, you can't see the shiny glue. I can't believe I couldn't find a video where I've got glue shining out very, very visibly in bright sunshine in any of the videos. I'm sure there are parts of the videos where that's happening, but I couldn't find them. Videos where the hair's gotten stuck in the glue and all this stuff, I'm trying to pick it out and then you go, right? Couldn't find it. It exists. I'm sure it exists. But just imagine it in your head. You see how shiny this stuff is? Imagine that when you look into somebody's scalp. Like, hi, how are you? What the fuck's wrong with your hair, man? It's all shiny and shit. What? With poly, that shine does not happen. And lace would experience the same lifting problem if that glue melted as well. So it's not like poly is a disadvantage here. It might make the glue melt a little bit earlier, but I wouldn't say significantly earlier. And with the hair this length, sorry, I didn't explain the length, how I'd cut it before in the last video. It was about there, from like to there to there, about, I don't know, an inch, and a half. This is all 1.5, which is, I said in the previous video, just over an inch, but an inch, just over half an inch. But an inch is 2.54 centimeters, isn't it? Anyway, half of that would be like 1.27 or something, right? And this 1.5, so well, I was right then. If I said over, it is. 1.5 is over half. And just over as well. No. 2.5, but half of that is like 1.25. Okay, so 1.25 is half, and then this is 1.5, so that's over. I was right. My head's fucked, man. Hurry up. It wouldn't have even mattered if it hadn't stayed in. No one could see that. It's not like you could have a tattoo there and just close this thing down and then none of the tat would show through the scalp, but it's unlikely anyone would notice. But I think you should still see anything that's kind of here. Like if I got a texture and wrote a swear word. Yeah, that dickhead, he keeps on fucking jacking off in his own feces about how he wants to kill me. Would probably think of a good word that I could write there. What is it? Tell me. Write it in the comment section below. I know you're going to. Probably write something about tattooing it to my corpse or something. So everyone will know, ha 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 lol. Some stupid fucking dumbass shit. What's in it for you, man? What are you thinking? I can't understand your brain. I think I'd have to have a lobotomy to understand you. I know what you are. You're like that guy who goes up to the Mona Lisa and just goes, I exist, everybody. God knows how many other people you're terrorizing to try and get attention. Listen, I know you've had a bad life, alright? You've had a bad fucking life, but don't spread the evil. If you're gonna be a fucking vigilante, go and save people who are being hard done by. Just want to do good deeds. Why do you want to be the baddie? Dumbest fucking ambition I've ever heard of. I don't want to be destructive when I grow up. I'm ready. Oh, fuck me, man. That's how fucked up I am. Look at this. That's the fucked up bullshit. That's like fucking coke snorting bullshit right there. Look at that. Oh, man. Look after yourself. Man. Looks like somebody's fucking put a sticker of a red duckling on my fucking eyeball. That's not a good look. I think people will start getting eyeball tattoos in the future. Like spirals and shit. It's like... Once we all start wearing neural link fucking glasses or brain to fucking computer interface machines or head lace things or whatever, people will probably start getting fancy kind of colours. LEDs flashing and shit. It would be good if you could make them glow, like in Stargate. But it wouldn't make it bright for you. The brightness is only going outwards. How good would that be for night vision? It's like... perfect. I mean, they wouldn't have to just be infrared and somehow you guys are able to... I don't know. Probably wouldn't need it. You probably have separate cameras, whichever you equal vision, 3D scans. Where are my car keys? Bing, 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 there. Okay, cool. Why am I carrying car keys? I'm just about to be teleported. Okay. So, oh man, that is not drying very quickly, is it? I want to leave and have a cigarette, but I feel like I've got to babysit you. 38, 39, 40, 41, 43, 40, fucking you, man. This is such a lazy day. It's a lazy fucking recovery day. Oh yeah, I got money left. I was supposed to go on a date tonight. Thank God she cancelled it. Just an internet one. It's good. Oh, I couldn't be fucked doing that. What do you do for a living? Last night I went out with some black people and got some cocaine. Oh wow, I'm so impressed. No. I think there's going to be a threshold of, that's racist. Well, you broke the law, right? I think it's the squares of this generation that's coming through. The scary fucking, we don't care about privacy. Those fucking pricks. They do not understand jokes. I don't get it. Most jokes. Strange little beard, isn't it? It is Movember now, I guess. And it turned on trying to raise funds for male prostate cancer. Do women have prostate? I don't know. Cancer is very bad. But when we do find a cure for something that's been ruining lives for many decades or whatever, we don't stick around and just celebrate it. They're doing polio is basically cured, isn't it? In a very short amount of time. Yay, well done, yeah, we won, polio's finished. So now, what do you have to do? So, like, okay, how about this? If that polio thing was done because people have donated millions and millions and millions of dollars over years and years and years, and then they cure it. Now what happens with that extra money? Is that like, yeah, I was in charge of the fundraising, it's okay, I'll look after it. I don't know. We're trying to raise money to support the local football team and help them to get uniforms. I'll put in $100. There you go. I'll put in 100 too. 100. Boom, 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 boom. We got a bit more money than we needed. Here are the uniforms, by the way. Okay, now, all the money's still coming in. What happens then? Thanks so much for your contribution. We just don't need it anymore. Please, let's just find everybody who's putting the money, but they put it into this box. We don't know how to, we have to fingerprint the money. Now then, I'll just ask everybody, how much did you put in? No, I've got a better idea. Give it to me, I'll double it for you. How's this going? Now why, if this is just going to dry in its own time anyway, do not wait for it to dry? Well, I don't know. To be honest, why do I do that? I don't know. I don't like the squishy feel of it going down. I think that's the main reason. And I think there's some usefulness of making sure that it's dried in advance. Like, for example, I'm going to be brushing the hair back and forward and stuff now to cut it and all sorts of stuff. And I didn't want there to be a risk of it flipping up and then the hair could get caught in it and mix a little sandwich or something. No. It's a lot easier. So, 2 ways to wet your hair. One is to spray a bottle of water. Probably the best way. Or you could dip your brush in the water in the sink, but then you're going to be tugging on dry hair initially, which is not good. And also the spray makes it more uniform. Oh man, that's a problem, isn't it? Ooh, not bleached at the front properly. That looks fucking terrible. Can you see what's going on there? Alright, and what about the lineup? On the side here. Well, see, the thing is, it's impossible to get perfect. But with lace, if that was lace, gee, I wish that wouldn't work. I don't like those gel things in my eyes. All those bags in my eyes. Look at that. No. If that was lace, it would probably blend in better, so you wouldn't notice it so much. Now the hairline there is probably right. Maybe too high, maybe that's too high as well. The whole thing's too high and it's on an angle. Why didn't I put it on straight? Because it's impossible to get it exact when you've got no visibility. Unless I put it on with all the hairs facing that way and then I could put them that way. And then I could try to stick down the front bit first and hope that it was exact back here. But it never is because there's a bit of, leeway with this cutting. And then I'd have either a gap or an overhang here and that's much harder. So it's easier if I line that up first and then do that. Which means the hairs are out of the way for that, which means I can't see this. There's probably a solution about bunching the hairs up or something as I apply it, but then that makes it do this. Like if I was like that and the hairs were all bunched up there like that, then it would start closing in and these bits wouldn't stick down properly, and then if I did that the hairs would come undone from the packaging or whatever. That looks completely doll-like and unrealistic all the way front, on the front there. There's no way I'll be doing a brush back look with the hairs like that. See, some of you who watch this on a phone would not have a clue what I'm talking about. It looks absolutely terrible right now, okay? That is completely unacceptable. Still have a couple of days till school goes back. I might have to bleach it again. Front bit. Okay, so I'm going to cut my hair, okay? So, give me an opportunity to check this bit here. Feels like there's a little bit of overhang there in the middle. Happens quite a lot. That didn't seem right. His hair is acting weird. I'm sure you guys know how to fast forward. Why aren't you saying anything? It's fucked up, that's why. You like I'm filming anything at all. Just remember when I first started making these videos, there weren't any other there weren't that many videos to watch how people did it properly. There was only like this one dude I remember. It was very rare to see any videos about how it's done, what the problems were, the best ways to approach the same situation from different angles. This will probably have to be cut much shorter afterwards anyway. Just going for the first, don't cut it too short because you can't grow it back instantly method. But still, it's got to be the same length as it was when people saw me on Friday or Wednesday. Okay, so it was mid forehead length. Now see how these hairs don't want to go down, lie down flat? It's not always necessarily because I've given myself a bad haircut or whatever. The hairs really want to lie in a particular direction, okay? They really do. They really, really do. So I always wear hair product. See, these V-loops are not giving me any problems at all. That's totally tight on these new hair pieces. Perfect. So the hair is falling into the sink as much as possible, and then after I have finished cutting my hair, I will just take all this hair and chuck in the bin. Let's see how I can stop that from sticking up, unless I just brush it a bunch of times and hopefully it'll obey. Anyway, put that up over there. Yeah, it's really quite a big gap over here. I was going to do something about that front hairline being uneven. I might as well show you that, even though I really can't be bothered doing it right now, but I will for you anyway. It's an ugly fucking mess, isn't it? So, like, when I tell you about lace lining up easily with these sort of edges, it's because it just frays into position, right? Look how sharp the edge of a poly piece is, right? Putting that next to that, it looks very square, you know what I mean? Hard to show you. Whereas the lace is just kind of, it's not as noticeable. It's hard to show you. Let's have to compare different videos. We'll refine that later on. This is a problem. That hair ending there, like that up there, I guess it's the right length. I'm going to peel it back a bit. Hopefully no hair bits and pieces will fall in. Alcohol. I'll attempt to stretch it into position. And also double check that that is not like some cut down to the stump kind of hairs that make it look dark for no reason. Otherwise I'd have to clip off that part of the unit. Seems better. Hopefully it won't stretch back in. But by the way, yeah, obviously there's no excess glue here or anything because I've glued the poly and that's perfect every time. You can't miss. This is always a bit of a pain in the ass, this bit. Okay, so I'm going to brush my hair out of the way so I can see the hairline properly. Coming up to an hour on this one. Now, I would have actually liked to have seen it land on that side at that same altitude. That would have been that's a good height on this side. I like it. In situations like these, it's important to ask oneself, are you feeling lucky? Because I could try to lift the whole thing and squish it back down at that altitude here, hoping that this is all going to line up nicely back here. And given that I said there's a little bit of a lip hanging over the back, maybe, I don't know, seems pretty exact over there, if not too short. Also, when I start getting into actual television roles and stuff, I might start going full, because you can see the density difference from my natural hair here, much thinner than this, clearly. Yeah, that's the right altitude, that's too high. What's going to happen? What's going to have to happen? I'll have to try to reposition the whole thing. Well, half of it, maybe. Can you help me out here? What is that near? Is it too high or too low? Can you tell? You've got absolute perspective from where you're standing. I can't see shit, man. I'll try. Okay. I'll try to get the right altitude. So I'm trying to aim this altitude to be the same as that altitude, see? Make sure it's all lined up and pressed up against the perimeter. Okay, now we've got a wall of hair situation. This is going to be a bleach situation, probably tomorrow or something. There is a danger with the bleach that I can get a reaction from it, the peroxide. But on the occasion that I did it, I'd been rubbing it like this for ages, so I'd really agitated the skin a lot before I put that stuff on, so it was probably inevitable. Now, on that previous piece that I took off earlier, the line, well, you didn't see me take it off, but the one I ripped in half, those lines were going back nose to spine. These ones are going ear to ear. They're going ear to ear there and there, and basically all the way across, which is what I've said actually is the best way, so long as you have bleached the roots at the front to make sure that those side hairs are not creating a wall, which they currently are. I did bleach this unit along with all the others, but I only did it for about 25 minutes. So I think another 25 will maybe make all that shit go away. Otherwise I'm going to have to keep my hair right down all the time. Yeah, there's a wall of hair, man. That cannot happen. Walls of hair are not allowed. That is super wrong. And you can't just pick away at it either. It doesn't work that way with poly. Don't forget, every hair you pull out, you're pulling out 2 hairs. And you don't want to be moving hair out in the front because you don't want to be left with a plastic line here. That's the worst. This is a wall of hair, but at least there's hair. So that means I can just bleach the front there. Okay, an hour. There you go. Might as well stop with some sort of hairstyle. I'm going to bed now, so that's not a need for putting hair product. And as for those hairs sticking up and everything, don't know what to do about that. Yeah. Let's see how long it takes him to give me 20 dislikes this time. Will he make it 40? Will he open 20 new accounts?